How y'all doing? So, how y'all doing? And yeah, I need a translation. So how are all of you doing? Anybody need that translation? Okay. I want to welcome you to the 42nd ACCA Conference and Indoor Air Expo, The Big Picture. When we decided to call this year's conference The Big Picture, it wasn't because we thought it was a catchy slogan. It's because the big picture is exactly what contractors need to focus on. The big picture means we don't just install and fix boxes. We provide expert solutions for comfortable, efficient, and healthy indoor living. The big picture means we aren't dealers, because dealers sell goods that someone else makes. Although I was talking to Ray Isaac, and Ray Isaac said dealers in Rochester, New York did something else, but we didn't get too far into that. So we are professional contracting businesses. We sell ourselves and our own expertise. The big picture means we can't hide our heads in our own local communities. What happens in Washington, indeed what happens all around the globe, has a deep impact on our day-to-day businesses. That's never been more true than it is today. I had the privilege to become ACCA chairman 1 year ago, and what a year it's been. It was a year of economic instability. Anybody out here know anything about that? It was the first year of a new presidential administration that turned out to have an agenda that was a little different from, well, it was a little different from the one most folks voted for. It was the year when government initiatives for energy efficiency changes at all levels, local, state, and federal, kicked into high gear. Energy efficiency is like heaven. Everybody wants to go. Everybody's following a different map to get there. Some of the maps for energy efficiency are going off into some pretty radical directions. And a lot of it, frankly, seems like it's being made up as people go along. For example, last year's stimulus tax package included tax credits offered for high-efficiency systems. But when they passed them, at the very last minute, they required a 16 SEER 13 EER combination that, frankly, the industry wasn't ready for when it got presented to us. Imagine the strides towards greater efficiency that could have been made if they had listened to us instead of radical environmental groups. Just promoting a 13 SEER with a tax credit would have dramatically increased the number of replacements nationwide and led to a much larger drop in energy usage than the current credits do. Every other day, it seems like the Obama administration or Congress are announcing some new initiative to promote energy efficiency. We've heard proposals for a new a new Home Star program, proposals for middle-class tax incentives, proposals to require energy ratings, proposals to implement regional standards for HVACR efficiency. Just keeping up with the proposals is a full-time job. On many occasions this year, I had to drop whatever I was doing and go to Washington to meet with officials or testify before Congress. And while we are very fortunate to have a very capable staff in Washington, and I'll be talking more about that at the chairman's banquet, I've learned firsthand how important you are to the process. I'm saying you are to the process. And by you, I mean each and every one of you. At each of your seats is a copy of ACCA's 2009 report to members. I hope you'll take a copy of that with you and read it if you haven't already got it. It's quite a remarkable list of the many accomplishments this organization made during 2009, or at least as many as we could fit into this little report. We've been very busy. I hope you take time to read through it. I hope you recognize how important each one of you were to every one of those achievements. From standards development to government affairs, to membership services and business operations, ACCA's success depends on the volunteer time and energy of thousands of members all year long. We need to be able to count on you through national efforts and in your own local communities, because the two are intertwined. National government priorities often drive local initiatives, and sometimes local initiatives drive national priorities. I come from a small city called Austin, Texas. Maybe you've heard of it. A guy flew a building into a plane there a few weeks ago. You probably saw that on the news. We stood on the front lawn of our offices and watched the fire across the highway and up on the hill. It really makes you stop and think. Austin is an interesting place. It's a blue dot on a red map. It's not like the rest of Texas, I promise you. When you visit us, you'll notice that one of the most common bumper stickers you see on the road is the one that says, "Keep Austin weird." They're doing a pretty good job of it too. Problem is, your city and your state are about to become a little more weird too. You see, Austin has embraced a new energy code and new requirements for HVACR systems that go a little beyond ordinary for now. Austin has adopted codes outlawing resistance heat in residences as well as electric water heaters. They require a manual J8 to be submitted with your permits. They require complete duct sealing, but I'm not finished. They require third-party duct testing. They require proof of CFM to the manual J8 to within 10% per room for most rooms. They require duct leakage of less than 10%, which also has to be tested. They require pressurization tests from room to central core and from the whole house to the outside. You can't get there consistently without doing a full-blown computerized manual D. I've just scratched the surface for the residential requirements that have been in place in Austin for a couple of years. Guess what? They just adopted similar requirements for commercial construction in Austin starting in 2010.